everybody, welcome back to my channel. I got so many nice comments and everything on my last talking video, so I'm so happy you guys liked it. So here I am gonna show you guys how I did this awesome drawing for a friend of mine, and I did it on Tool SAI. So for you guys who want to know how to draw on Tool SAI from scratch, here it is. So I actually started drawing it by myself, like without recording it, and then I was like, okay, you know what, let me just record it because I haven't really posted a video while I drew on Tool SAI in a while. So here it is. Like I just started recording it out of nowhere, and I don't normally draw it on camera. I don't normally draw it on recording because it's just a really difficult process for me to draw it because I have to get everything right, because it's just the base drawing. It's just the base part of the drawing, and then I don't really like to record it because I make a lot of mistakes and everything. But I mean, I guess I can record it some other time, but it's just really difficult for me to do that. And yeah, and it makes the video a little bit longer, but it doesn't really matter. So basically I have the finished sketch, and then I'm gonna block it out using the selection tool, and then I'm gonna make a new layer and a masking tool, which just keeps everything in that area that I selected. Which, I mean, it's a little bit confusing, but yeah, that's how I do it, just to get all of the area blocked out, so it would be easier for me to color them in. So I'm just using these avatars as reference for everything, and I'm just adding the colors and the shading and just coloring everything in the way that I think it looks best. And a lot of the brushes that I'm using is either I tweaked it, but it's based off of someone else's brushes, or it's a brush that I made on my own. So it's either those two. But for the skin, I like to make the skin a little bit darker than how it normally is, because I do go in with shadows and highlights, which ends up making the skin a little bit lighter. So he looks a little bit gray here, but it's gonna look fine in the end. I promise you. Promise you. But yeah, this is Tool SAI. I think it's a lot easier to use than Photoshop because it's so much simpler, and all the tools are so much simpler. But Photoshop offers a lot more things, which can be a good thing, and it can also be kind of a double-edged sword, because it's like it gives you so many options and you end up trying to use it all, and it ends up being too much. You know what I mean? Which can often happen to me with a lot of my past drawings. I just did too much because I was like, I want to use everything that I know on Photoshop. So I tried to use it all, and it just ended up being too much. So Tool SAI is really simple because it gives you what you need, you know. So basically, I just put them into different groups so if I ever mess up, I can always just go back to the previous one and just start from there. Which is why I like to do a lot with my original artwork. I like to duplicate the layers a lot and put them into many groups, so just so I'm not completely screwed over if I ever mess up, you know. So for shadows, I like to use the shade tool, and I just use it to add I use it to add a couple of different shadow layers, and then also add the flush to the skin a little bit. And for highlights, I like to use Lumi and Shade. Is that what it's called? I think. Yeah, I like to use that rather than using luminosity, because Lumi and Shade gives it a little bit more of it adapts better to the skin tone, if that makes any sense. Because luminosity just it can just be white, a really bright white highlight, but Lumi and Shade allows you to really make it like a really bright color. I don't really know how to explain it that well, but that's just how I do it. So I'm just like really blandly, just really haphazardly adding highlights and shadows everywhere, just because either way I'm gonna go over it and then I'm gonna paint over it. Because you see all of these layers here, they're gonna go away. Like they're all in a group. I'm gonna duplicate it and then merge it all into one, and then that's how I like to draw. I don't like to have too many layers, so I just group them into another layer. See how I duplicated just then, and then I merged it into one layer, and that's the layer that I paint on. That's the main layer. I just paint everything on there. And if I ever want to add something extra, I'll do a duplicate layer. No, I will do another layer, and I would merge it back down into that one. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm kind of talking fast, and it's really difficult. You guys didn't seem to mind my rambling. Some of you guys said my voice was cute. I don't understand, but okay, thank you. So yeah, for the skin, after I merge them all together, I just start using this is the colors tool, which is mostly just a pen tool, and it's really soft for me, at least. I think it's pretty soft, and I just use it to add like soft details, but then I also use the brushes to blend them out. So I love like really shiny skin. I just love people looking luminous and dewy, and like they just came out of the water or something. I don't know. I just like to make the skin really shiny. No one complains, so I just keep doing it. And I love to paint ears because, I mean, it took a really long time for me to get the hang of it, but it's just a bunch of shadows. Once you get the initial shape and all of the lines in, it's really easy to shade it. So that's what I do. Now I'm just going in and doing the ears, the earring thing. It's a really weird thing. I don't understand it, but whatever. Oh, I had a burp. Something had a burp. I don't know what is that. Anyway, just painting and painting. I don't know what to say. The shoulder's a little bit blocky. I'm gonna fix that later. But basically, I like to give it kind of a semi-realistic / cartoonish kind of vibe. Like, I like it to be really painted and really like smooth. But I like to give it a textured look. Like, I don't like to have everything super smooth. Like, you see how you can kind of see the brush strokes a little bit. I like to leave it like that. I might smooth it out a little bit, but overall, I like to leave the evidence that a brush was once here. You know what I mean? That makes any kind of sense? I don't know. But I also like to give everything kind of an outline, like a slightly darker color. I will outline everything. It's just like a personal preference. If you see how I'm going in and just outlining it a little again, and I'm also still blending it in. Like, it's not just like a cartoon color where I just block it out. I also blend it in. So you just see me adding the highlights. It's really hard to add highlights on the eyes because they don't. The pixel tool doesn't work the same as it does on Photoshop. Like, you actually have to go back in and erase a little bit, while on Photoshop you can actually change the opacity of the tool. It is a little bit weird, and I don't really like using it on Tool SAI, but it's, you know, it's gotta be done. So with hair, I'm gonna explain it later when I do his hair, because I really like the way I did his hair. I like the way I did Nicky's hair. This is Nicky, by the way. I like the way I did Nicky's hair, but the other guy, Ash, I assume, I like how I did his hair because it shows my style a little bit better. And this hat, beret, whatever this is, it was weird. It's like, it has a lot of, it's supposed to have a lot of depth in it, because it's not like completely straight and round, it's kind of lumpy. So that was a little bit difficult, but I managed to finesse the hell out of it, I think. It looks alright to me. I actually did this drawing like several weeks ago, like probably like a month ago, like I did it a while ago, but I wasn't sure if I should upload it anymore because the person who bought it is actually, they weren't dating anymore, so I was like, is it okay if I upload it? She was like, yeah, you can do it, totally. So yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry guys, I'm really awkward. But hands are weird. I mean, that was a really weird position. But now I'm working on him. His eye is a little bit weird. It was just, I mean, I guess just looking back, I could have done better with his eye. It looked a little bit too cartoonish. It could have been a lot more realistic. Like, Nicky's eye looks really nice, I think. But his eye, it could have been a little bit better. But I mean, it looks alright to me, I think. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay. So as you see with the twinkle in his eye kind of thing, I would do like a one layer, and because it's a solid color, I lower the opacity and do another layer, and then I go over it again and I lower it again. So that's just how I kind of make my inner corner highlights, I guess. I don't know. But I'm just painting over his face and trying to make it look not like I just added random colors over top of that. I try and blend it out together. And guys' eyelashes actually tend to be longer than female eyelashes, so I have to remind myself about that. But then again, you don't really want to give a guy long eyelashes. For some reason, people just don't do that. So I kind of fade it out a little bit so it's not as noticeable. And I just do his bushy eyebrows. I love bushy eyebrows. They're very nice and pretty, I think. And then I just do his piercing things, eyebrow piercings. It's like 1 a.m. What time is it? I don't know. It's really late. Probably 2 a.m. I don't know. And again, you see I'm working on his ears. I'm basically just refining the lines that I already drew. So that's basically what I do with original artwork. I draw it out and add the colors, and then I define everything and make everything look like it's one and not just a couple of layers put together. And yeah, I'm adding a lot of shinies all over their ears and things because I don't know if you guys noticed, but people's ears, they tend to be a little bit shinier than the rest of your face. Like your ear, like these little lines in your ears, they do tend to be a little bit shinier. So I am doing this sparkly textured look I like to do with the pixel tool on Photoshop. I'm doing the same thing on Paint Tool side, but I'm using a pen tool and just doing like dotting it really fast. That's how I do it. I just think it gives a little bit more of a texture look to the skin and makes the skin look a little bit more skin-like without like actually making it into skin texture, I think. I don't know. So I like to just go back and forth. Like when I go and do one part of the face or whatever, I end up getting sidetracked and doing something else. And I just keep going back and forth till everything's done. That's basically how I get things done. And I take little breaks like this. You see, I'm just not doing anything. I'm probably watching a video or something. Now, wrinkles are actually really difficult. Like, I can't tell you how I do wrinkles because I don't know how I do wrinkles. I literally just do what feels right. I add lines where I think lines should be. I add shadows and highlights where I think they should go. And that's pretty much just how I do it. Now here we go with the hair. I really like how I did his hair because it looks very, very painted on, and that's how I like it. This is what I think really differentiates my original artwork from my DP artwork, which is my IMVU artwork, because this one I drew from scratch and I kind of like it to look different. Like if I'm doing a DP, I want it to look like it's a DP, and when I'm doing an original artwork, I like it to look like it's an original artwork, which is my style. This is drawn in my style, I guess, kind of. I mean, my style changes like every 2 weeks, but that's it. I don't know. But basically, like the hair, I don't add strands. Like I don't really add strands like I do on DPs. If you notice, on DPs I actually draw the actual lines. I do the darker lines, I do the lighter lines and everything. Here I just paint everything on. I just draw lines where I think they should be, cross them over with other colors. Just a bunch of blended colors put together to make it look like a hair texture. That's basically how I do hair, and I really like that style with hair, especially in Photoshop, because Photoshop offers actual blending brushes, which allows you to really get that painted look that Photoshop doesn't really let you do unless you really finesse it. So now I'm just working on his hands. I don't know, hands anatomy. I don't know. I really was kind of over it at this point. I really didn't know what I was doing, so I just did what kind of looked right. And I just make it bigger because it looked a little bit small to me, because sometimes when you draw it in, it might not be the right size, so when you finally go in and paint it, you notice that it doesn't really match. So you just resize it. You just change the size and maybe it'll work, and maybe it won't. But I think it worked alright because I ended up going over a little bit with the outfit, so it doesn't really matter that it was whether or not it looked anatomically correct. Okay. So I'm just going in with the multiply tool. I'm just adding a bunch of different shadows all over the bodies, and I'm doing this on a different layer. So, and then after that, I'm gonna blend that back into the main layer. And now I'm just fixing up the septum ring because I realized that it was 2 septums, not just 1. So I just went in and fixed that. Added the shadows, fix the hair a little bit. You see, I literally just go back and forth and just do whatever feels right to me. Now I'm just adding freckles because I love freckles. I just think they're adorable and they just make you look more, it just adds texture. I just love anything that makes the skin look more skin-like, and freckles do that. So, and there's a lot of skin showing, so I just had to do it. And this is a very scandalous picture, very sensual picture, I assume. I don't know. I gave them really bedroom eyes, so I guess it has to be kind of sensual with it. I don't know, maybe. So I'm just fixing his shirt and just adding those shadows that I don't know if they're right or not, but I just add them because they look right or because I'm lazy. I don't know what else to do with it. It's basically my motto. Not really my motto, but just basically what I do. I'm just rambling on. I don't really know what I'm saying. Just fixing the shirts. I don't really like to baggy clothes. Is the more difficult parts to do because it's not just baggy, it's also wrapped around a body, which creates all of these different dips and curves and wrinkles into the outfit that you can't really imagine it, you can't really think it accurately, so you gotta kind of fake it a little bit, which is what I'm kind of doing. I really like this drawing. I mean, it's really pretty, and I did it all on Tool SAI. I don't go into Photoshop until the very end where I do my finishing touches, which I do in all of my drawings anyway. So yeah, now I'm going on Photoshop and I'm just doing what I normally do. I sharpen it a little bit to bring out the details in it, to enhance the details in it. As you see, it looks a little bit different. It looks sharper, which is what it's called, sharpen. And then I just add my basic, you know, highlights and thingies. I like to do that hard light thing where I like to make it a little bit more red tone, pinkish, just to give the whole body a little bit of a ethereal luminosity, I guess. I'm just adding the borders, and I'm basically just done. I didn't really put text on this one because I just thought it was too much of an actual artwork to put text on it, so I just left it alone. And yeah, it's basically just the end of the finished. This is basically the finished product, the finished drawing and everything. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you guys have any kind of questions regarding any of my DPs, how much they cost, whether or not I accept credits, I do not accept credits. So please just understand this. I do not accept credits. And everything you need to know is going to be in the description box down below. Everything from what tablet I used, what like digital things, what programs I used, everything is listed down below. And if you guys want to see anything specific, let me know. I already know I have to do an eyelash thing and another thing. So anyway, bye!